Whenever you need tips on faith, fitness, or diet, there is one source for all those needs. And to share those tips, here's your host of I Got You Girl, Elena.
Hello. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe it's been literally over 30 days since I recorded a podcast episode. That's so crazy to me. I have missed doing this so much. I dug my microphone out of my closet and I was so excited. I don't really have a specific topic or anything like that I'm going to share. It's kind of just going to be an overview of the past year and just a few tips of going into the new year that I wanted to share. But thank you so much for your continued support and just listening and hearing from you guys during my time away from the podcast, and just knowing so many people were going back and listening to older episodes, and it just really meant the world to me. It was just something that I have wanted to get back to, but I started this as a passion project, something that I wanted to do for me, something I really enjoyed. And I didn't want to force myself to do something when I didn't feel creative. And I really honestly just felt not authentic enough to record an episode, because as most of you know, if you follow me, I announced that I am shifting away from being a Beachbody coach, which has been the primary business that I have run for 3 years. So I have made the decision to go a new direction with my career for right now, at least. And I'm really, really happy about that decision. But I kind of felt inauthentic because I asked you guys what you want to hear about, things like that. And so when I knew internally that I was struggling with feeling happy and, joyful in my business and in my career, and I didn't want to be answering questions about, MLMs or coaching or any of that and put like a fake smile on, because I really pride myself in being real and being honest, especially here, because this is like my little corner. And I just couldn't do it. And so then I also had a bunch of health problems I was struggling with, and that kind of happened. And it just was a really difficult season for me. So I am really happy to be back and to just record an episode and to go forward into the new year and just be able to take this in any direction I really want to, which is what I've always done. But now I feel just like I have my creative drive back now that I made that announcement. It was seriously such a struggle for me to come to that, because I have been a Beachbody coach for 3 years. And that's seriously what sparked me getting onto Instagram in the way that I am and working with brands and everything. It all started with deciding to be a Beachbody coach, honestly. And I truly do love everything about coaching. Not everything, but I truly love what it was for me. I love what it did for my life. I love the relationships I was able to create. And truly, when I say I wouldn't be the person I am without it, I completely mean that. For some people, being in an MLM is the end all be all, and that's really their purpose, and they are comfortable there, and that's what they love. But honestly, I just started to realize I didn't love the way the business was set up. I didn't love how I felt having to, what's a good way to say this? Like having to motivate other people, to have goals that maybe they didn't have on their own in their business. I'm not saying in their workouts or fitness, because I love that aspect of coaching. If you're not in an MLM, you probably aren't going to understand anything that I'm saying, but I loved the customer experience that I got to have and with my girls, and I loved getting to mentor people in their health and wellness. But I'm talking about the business side. The way an MLM is set up, it's just sometimes difficult to move forward into the goals you have for yourself without kind of feeling like you have to be, on top of your whole team and really not forcing goals onto them, because I would never consider myself like very forceful with it. I mean, maybe at times. If you ask anyone else, I don't know. I hope not. But it wasn't the way I wanted to grow anymore. And it didn't feel true to who I am. And I just really wasn't wanting to do it anymore. And I wrestled with that for so long. Like, I didn't just realize that and then just jump in and say, okay, I'm done, I'm quitting. I forced myself to try to get out of that mindset. And another thing about MLMs is whenever you're not feeling it or you're struggling in your business, you're oh, just work on yourself and do your self-development, and you have negative, a negative mindset, blah, blah. And it's I was so bought into that. I was like, okay, it's me. I'm the problem. Like I shouldn't be feeling this way. It's bad to feel this way. This is my business. How could I, promote it for so long and then realize, I don't want to do it anymore. I felt really fake. And that's another thing I didn't like about it. And so it just wasn't lining up with who I am. And so I thought about it, prayed about it for a long time. And then that's when I got offered my current position, which I love. I get to be creative. I get to work with a really incredible team. I just love everything about it. And it just came at the perfect time. And I really was trying to balance both, but I was not passionate anymore about at least building the business in that way to be a full-time thing. That's why I still wanted to do coaching. I still want to help others if they need workouts or whatever. I'm still going to want to do that. I just don't have the drive to make it a full-time or upkeep it with being my full-time income, because honestly, it's so much more than just posting workouts. Like, so much goes in behind the scenes. I have so much respect for the people that are continuing to make this their full-time career for the rest of their lives. I think that's great if that's what you feel called to do. I just didn't. So anyway, it's a lot of work. And so I'm shifting into this new realm, and I kind of feel like I have like a life now. Like, I kind of feel like before I felt like I had to be on my phone all the time. You always have to be posting, always be like sharing your life, and every minute it just felt like I was on a reality show, but I was the camera crew, but I felt like I had to be, because if you're not posting, then people aren't going to know you, and people need to know you. It was just this whole thing. And oh my gosh, I feel like a new person because I don't feel like I have to be on my damn phone all the time. It's crazy. Like, I get done work. My work hours are not like 9 to 5 necessarily, kind of varies, but like I'll get done work and I won't have a project to finish until the next day. And I don't feel like I have to be on my phone DMing and texting, just doing all this stuff that I had to do for so long to build my business to the point where it was. So anyway, all of that to say, I made the best decision that was for me. I'm so thankful for the time that it played a role in my life. I'm the person I am because of coaching. I've learned so much about myself, about life. I truly love it, or loved it. And I still love what it did for me. I'm rambling now because when I get anxious, I just ramble. I don't know why I feel anxious. I feel like I also got a lot of negative feedback. I think that's why I feel anxious right now talking about it, because I lost people unfollowed me like crazy on Instagram. It was really sad, actually. I did cry about it. I'm not going to lie. I cried about it to my mom. I just felt really judged. I feel like, if you worked in a corporate setting and someone moved on to get a new job, sure, you might be sad, but you wouldn't shun them, And I just felt like really attacked, and like my character was kind of belittled. And then I had people say to me like, oh, well, why would you quit? Like, you always, like, you made it to the top, and you are so successful, and you have so many clients, and like, why would you quit? I don't understand. Well, I quit because it didn't fit in my life anymore. I quit because it's not quitting, actually. I didn't quit anything. I'm choosing to go in a different, direction with my life. It's not me quitting. I don't know. I just felt like really judged and attacked. And that was one of the reasons I made myself stick with it for so long, is because I was like, I don't want to be a quitter. I don't want to be a quitter. And finally I realized, I was like, you're not quitting. You're just saying this isn't serving the person I am and the person I want to be anymore. It's too much stress. It's so much stress, you guys, feeling like you have to be on your phone all the time. Oh my gosh. And I still feel like I struggle with it because I feel like I've become addicted to being on my phone all the time. So I'm trying to get better at it, but I don't know. I feel really free, like not having to feel like I have to Instagram story every aspect of my life, and like I can have a personal life now. Anyway, the whole point of this episode was not for me to talk about that, but I feel like I needed to share a little bit about it. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about was just the year in review. And I am very, very happy with the way that the year went. I know that sounds crazy because it was a horrible year for so many people, and it honestly was not a good year for me, but I'm happy with how it went because I feel like at the beginning of the year, my goal was to simplify my life, and I feel like I really did. So back in January of last year, I was dating someone else. I was about to move to New York. I was coaching. I was just being pulled in a million directions. I had another job I was doing on the side. I just had so much going on in my life, and it was honestly so stressful. I was in a lot of friendships that weren't healthy. I was just really obsessed with what I ate all the time. That was another thing. I was really struggling with disordered eating. Again, not as bad as it was years ago, but I noticed like that was kind of coming back. I was just in a really like weird place this time last year. And then I wanted to go into last year with like a word to, I always do like an intention word. And I really wanted to just simplify my life. So I live on a farm now. I clearly don't live in New York. So about a week into the new year, maybe not even, I told them I did not want to take the job anymore. I had a lease and I had, the job, I had everything ready to go. And I just decided the last minute that was not what I felt called to do. I wanted to stay at home. Well, my new home, which was I moved to Pennsylvania. So this is my new home I'm talking about. I decided I didn't want to go to New York. And that was such a big decision, almost similar to how I feel. Actually, this is crazy. I didn't realize this. It's actually the same way I felt kind of leaving coaching. Is like I feel like I felt expected to go there because I had the grades, I had done the internship, I lived in New York. Everything pointed to going to New York, and I got this incredible position. I'm still sometimes not regret not taking it, but like I wonder what my life could have been like. Actually, this year would have been a horrible year to move to New York, but the company was amazing, still is. And I don't know, I was so excited about that, but it just didn't feel like the right thing for me to do in that season of my life. And so I turned the job down like a few days before. I know it's so frowned upon. People are probably like, you're such an idiot. But I literally a few days before I emailed the girl, I was like, I'm so sorry. Like this isn't going to work out. And it was so scary, but also it felt like I knew that was what I should have done in that time. And so now I live on a farm, much simpler life than New York, but it's so crazy because looking back, no one knew how 2020 was going to play out back in January, right? And I just can't imagine, having made that big move and made all these changes and then this year happening the way that it did. I just can't imagine that. So I'm really thankful I did that for myself. I did stick with coaching all year. My business grew a ton in the first and second quarter of the year. It was like the most income I've ever had. It was incredible, but it was a lot of work, but it was really fun because I got to work with so many amazing people. I honestly was in a pretty good place, but my mental health was rocky in the beginning of the year. I was a vegan for a little bit, which is not full vegan. I ate fish, so I don't really know what it was, but I couldn't eat chicken because I started having stomach problems. And so I didn't really eat anything. So that played a role in like my hormones. So my mental health was jacked up in the beginning of the year. And so I decided to like shift what I ate and my workouts and all that. What else happened this year? I made a lot of new friends where I live, which is really great because that was the hardest thing, was leaving my friends back home. But honestly, I ended up growing apart from a lot of them, which is sad. Not a lot of them, actually, just a few. But the friendships that I grew out of, I wouldn't say apart from, I grew out of them. And maybe they grew out of them too. They just weren't the best friendships. And so I just ended up really shifting what I look for in friends and the kind of friend that I want to be, all of that. I started volunteering at my church and working with the students there, specifically the 11th and 12th grade girls, and I absolutely love doing that. That's something I realized I wanted to do kind of towards the end of quarantine. I just felt really called to do it, and so I started doing that, and it's just been such a good thing in my life. I really love it. Yeah, it's honestly, the year was crazy, and being locked at home with my family was like so just annoying at times. And I wanted to buy a house this year, which I obviously didn't do. But at the end of the day, the year really taught me a lot about myself. And like I said, I wanted to simplify my life, and I really feel like I did, especially as the year is ending this week. I feel like I really did simplify my life in the ways that I wanted to. I did struggle with being sick this year, with the sickness that everybody kind of knows about. And also I had whatever problems I was having with like my palpitations. It was like really bizarre. I started having all these like mini attacks they're called PVCs. And we couldn't figure out what was wrong. We still don't know what happened, but I'm doing a lot better now. Thank God. But that was really rough, but that really helped me deepen my faith just in myself and in God, and just learning to trust in his plan for my life, which is not the easiest thing to do. It's just very interesting. And my relationships have changed so much over the past year, from the people that I was interested in the beginning of the year to, now. It's just so many things in my life have changed, but in a good way. And although it took a lot of, pain and stuff to get here, I really do feel happy, I guess, or confident with the way that my life has gone towards the end of the year. So anyway, going into the new year, I have a lot of goals. Every year I try to pick, one specific intention word for the year. So this one is going to be flourish. And the reason I picked that is I was doing a Bible study a few weeks ago, and I felt like restore was the word that God was like kind of showing me continually. And I just kept coming across it in, devotions and scriptures. And I was like, I love that word, restore. And the more I thought about it, of that being my word for 2021, I realized like restore, when you look it up, it means to like go back to its original, whatever, go back to the original way or whatever it is. And I don't really want to restore anything, I realized, because restore, I've loved the person I am, and I've loved the person I've been over the past year and the person I used to be, whatever, but I don't want to go back to that. I want to continue to grow in the ways that I want to grow, and I want to continue to become a better person, and I want to continue to be, a kinder person and more fit and healthier and, smarter and like all these things, like more wealthy, like all the things I want to do are moving forward. So I feel like restore, although it's good, it kind of means that the person you were before, you were super happy and content with. And while I was happy with the person I was before, it's not something I want to go back to. I want to grow into a new, better version of myself. So I decided to pick Flourish, which I really didn't like the sound of it at first, but the more I looked at the definition, I looked up some verses that go with it, and I really feel like that's going to be my word for the year, to just really be an excellent in every area of my life, because now I feel my life has been simplified. I feel like I really like my career. I feel like the podcast is something I want to get back into and get my passion back into. I don't feel like I'm stressed out all day long with dealing with stuff that goes with running, an MLM business. I feel like I have more creative drive within me and more time to really want to connect with the people that are followers on my page that have remained since my announcement. Anyway, so Flourish is my word for the year, and I'm really excited. Another goal of mine is to be a better cook, and I hate cooking. I absolutely hate it. I got an air fryer, so that's really exciting. I like to do stuff in the air fryer, but I hate to cook, and that's something my mom loves to do. My mom's an amazing cook, so my whole family is, and I'm just not. I've never liked it. So I really want to master that. I want to get back to my morning routines. I've kind of been slacking with that, and to just doing more self-development, like structured self-development, not just like random quotes and random books here and there. I want to get like more structured again, in my like health and wellness too, like with my following a workout plan and stuff like that. Anyway, I also gained a good 10 pounds this year, which is probably a good thing because my mom says I was looking too thin, but who knows if she's right or just being rude. So I've gained 10 pounds, and I'm really learning to, instead of just like working out and dieting or eating right to try to lose 10 pounds, I'm really just trying to appreciate my health for what it is. I think this year really showed me that, again, how many times I have to learn that lesson, that being healthy is all that matters. But anyway, I feel like this year really drove that home for me. And so I'm really trying to learn that if this is the weight that my body's always going to try to get back to, then just learning to, love my body the way that it is, which I do. And yeah, overall, those are my goals for the upcoming year. I also want to do more investing during COVID time. As you know, I posted a lot about how I got started with stocks and all of that. And yeah, I want to do more of that in the upcoming year. And overall, just continuing to grow excellence in the ways and the areas of my life that I have really been grounded in the past year. So with that being said, I'm really excited for the podcast and for growing it this year. I'm going to do more of asking on Instagram the topics and the questions people want to hear about, because those are always the episodes that do the best. So I'm really excited about that. Please feel free to send me any topics, anything like that you may have or want me to talk about. But anyways, I hope that you guys had an incredible year, and just thank you so much for your support, whether you signed up to, join a boot camp, or you ordered another product from me, or you used one of my links to shop for something, or you just listened to the podcast, or you shared it with someone or posted it on Instagram. Any way that you supported me in my business this year, I seriously appreciate you so much. Without my followers, without people that take the time to listen, this would be nothing. This would have never gone anywhere. So it really just means the world to me. I'm so grateful for you, and I truly, truly do mean it. And yeah, I'm so excited for the new year. So if you need help picking an intention word, when I post about this episode on Instagram, I'm going to include a list of intention words that you can borrow or you can use for your year. And I'd love to see what you guys do with them. So as always, thank you for listening. And I'm going to try to plug in my sister's friend that she went to high school with. He recorded some voiceover intros for my podcast, which I'm so excited about. And I really, really am so thankful that he took time to do this. I'm going to plug that in either at the beginning or end of this episode, depending on how I edit it. But I am really, really loving that. So I wanted to share that before the year ended as well. So thank you guys so much for listening. Happy New Year. And I am praying that it is the best yet.